Hey everybody, welcome back to Mac Kiteboarding. Wing Wednesdays, Foil Fridays, just whatever. This video is kind of for everybody. Today I'm going to come to you and just talk about some things that I've learned over the years riding in cold weather, riding in cold water, safety, comfort, just ease of use stuff. And also throw some stuff in there too. You know, for those of you seasoned cold weather riders, maybe this is all old hat, rehashing it. I've also figured out one or two things, wing foiling. I can give you a couple of tips there to help you out in cooler conditions. So our shop is located in Michigan. Not everybody knows that. We are way up north. So a good portion of our year looks kind of like this. You know, it's not super cold today, but we've got snow on the ground. Our beaches are covered with ice. Most of the time we're out riding. The wind chill, at least, is below 32, below freezing, 0 for you Celsius folks. So it's chilly out here, you know, and it's frequent that we get out and ride, you know, when in really cold conditions, especially with the wind chill factored in. You know, we're into wind sports here, so, you know, if it's 20 degrees outside and it's blowing 30, it's really stinking cold. So we've definitely figured out some things over the years with regard to cold weather riding, different tricks and tips that you can use, and we'll get into those right now. First tip, and this one might seem really obvious, but you got to have the right wetsuit gear. You got to have the right, you know, the right gear to get out there and be safe. You know, a really, really good suit is key. A good thickness. You know, if you're really out there in freezing conditions, you need boots, you need gloves, you need a hood. You should really have a really good 5mm suit or a good 6mm suit. You know, and that's going to help keep your core temperature warm, keep your body moving the way it should, avoid hypothermia, all that stuff. You know, it's not just about, hey, I'm not comfortable, I'm comfortable. It's a safety thing. So make sure you have the right gear to do that. You know, if you're somebody that doesn't tolerate the cold well, spend the extra money, get the better gear, get the thicker wetsuit, the thicker gloves, the boots, and step yourself into it lightly so that you can be safe out there. All right, so second tip, start warm and stay warm in the water. So before you go out, you don't want to start cold. If you're getting dressed in the parking lot and you don't have a big vehicle where you can get dressed in the vehicle, get dressed, come back into your car, warm back up, have a sip of hot water, tea, coffee, whatever, you know, just to get your core temperature back up. Because if you're changing in the parking lot, you're getting cold, let's be honest, and you don't want to start cold. You want to start warm so you can stay warm. You don't want to start cold because you'll never warm up in a truly cold situation. So I usually bring like a 2-liter bottle of hot water with me, and I drink some of it, warm up, pour a little down my suit just to start warm. You know, you kind of give it a good brisk jog to the shoreline, pump up, you stay warm, keep moving, you know, do your flexes, get going. You don't want to freeze up. You don't want to let your body kind of get cold and tight. So stay warm. It's going to help you stay warm in the water as well, because once you cool down, it's really hard to, you know, get back up to temperature and do that. Kind of the same thing goes in the water. If you're starting to get cool, don't think that it's going to get any better. It's time to go warm up or end your session. You know, if something happens where you need to make a long swim, a long self-rescue, your suit gets flushed, if you're already cool, it's only going to be that much worse. So please, please take this advice. If you're feeling cool, go in, end your session, or take a break to warm up, and that's going to help keep you safe, help you get out there again, and really, you know, avoid those really bad situations that can arise if you're, you know, already cold and something happens, or if you just push it too long. So always plan for that. If you are getting cold, get out. If your suit gets flushed, especially, I've had this happen to me a few times, these really cold conditions, get out of the water immediately, get to a warm spot, because hypothermia is already setting in. You're already starting If you really flush your suit on a cold weather day, there's no warming back up. I don't care how hard you paddle. It's really going to be tough in a situation like that. So you got to get someplace warm back up, and then maybe get back to it after you warmed up properly, and have a clear mind. Your body's functioning the way that it should. So that's that. Start warm, stay warm. Remember that. Eat yourself some rooty vegetables, a couple of hours before. Get that body working. Get those insides working, making some heat for you, and that's going to help you out. Another tip I've got here is sometimes it helps to wear like an overcoat or snow pants if you've got a long hike to where you're riding. So if you're fully dressed at your car and you've got a little bit of a hike to get to the water, or you're going to take a while to set up, sometimes it's nice to have something to break the wind, something like a neoprene jacket, even like a snow parka like you'd wear skiing or snowboarding. I've even had people I know wear snow pants while they're setting up, just again to keep that core temperature warm, to keep the wind off you until you get moving and into the water, and that'll really help you out. All right, so those are some pretty basic tips. Now I'm going to get at you to some more specific tips that I found for wing foiling. This is a pretty new thing. I don't think there's a ton of people doing it in cold weather, at least not yet. There's no die-hard people out there really testing this. At least I haven't seen any giving tips on specific cold weather, so we'll jump in there and give you what we've learned. For me personally, I find that putting some wax on my traction pad really helps. That is going to help you out when you're knee starting. It's common, especially in cold weather, if you're knee starting and there's waves and chop throwing you about, maybe your deck pad's a little icy even, you can slide off your board a lot easier when you're getting started, or get out of position easier. So rubbing a little bit of surf wax into the pad, obviously cold weather surf wax, is going to help your pad have a little bit more traction. It's going to help you stay in place better, give you a little bit more grip, with your feet, but primarily with your knees. When you're knee starting, especially smaller boards, it can be pretty challenging in those conditions when it's chilly out. So that helped me out a lot. An additional thing I can tell you really helped me out, number one, is wearing a harness line. If you're out there, you have your handles, they're cutting off circulation to your fingertips when you're holding on to power like that, and your fingertips are going to be the first thing to get cold. So the best thing to do there is relieve pressure off your hands. Best way to do that is with a harness line to a harness. You can really lean into it, take the pressure off your hands, and allow your fingertips to get more circulation. You can even ride with one hand, keep one hand low where your body can pump blood into your hand more efficiently, where it's not having pressure on those veins that are cutting off circulation to that warmth, to that blood flow. So that really helps me out, at least when I'm riding long sessions. If I'm not using a harness line, or I'm not giving my one hand a break to warm up, it doesn't last too long out there, because your fingertips get cold really fast, and then you lose dexterity in your fingers. Obviously you need dexterity in your fingers for wing foiling. So that really helps. Additionally, and this is kind of a side benefit of using a harness with your harness line, is that it gives you an auxiliary attachment point for your wing leash. Generally, I'm a big fan of a wrist leash. Now, most of the wing surf wrist leashes, however, aren't big enough to fit around my wrist when I've got a cold weather suit on and gloves or mittens. It just doesn't fit around the diameter of my wrist well enough. Some of them I can get a little bit of contact on the Velcro, but it's nothing that I would feel secure about, nothing that I would feel safe with. So I attach it to my harness instead. Now that works really good. It also gets it at kind of a universal point here in the middle. So when you're hooking in and out of your harness line, it's not getting in the way and tangled around your harness hook as much. It still can happen, but really, when it's across to your other hand and it's drooping down at the same level as the harness line, you're going to hook into it almost every time. So having it kind of in that middle point down by your harness really reduces that kind of hooking issue, or if it does get hooked under there, it's less consequential because it's already hooked there. It's not going to restrict your movement at all. So those are 2 tips that I found for wing foiling in cold weather. Hopefully those help you out. Everybody, please stay safe out there. If you're feeling uncomfortable, don't go or get out of the water. Really, it's not worth it. Save it for next time. You know, build your skills, build your confidence and your comfort in cooler water. Never panic. Always ride with friends, and look out for one another out there, because it does add another element of danger. So yeah, stay safe out there, everybody. This has been Tucker with MattKiteboarding.com, and we'll see you next time.